Hey guys, so if you've been watching my videos, you know that I have read literally thousands of screenplays in my 30-year career as a studio executive, producer, story analyst, and screenwriter. And I tend to see the same mistakes happen over and over again. But there are 5 things that will get you an almost immediate pass. So I want to run through these real quick today to make sure you don't make these mistakes. So the first thing that I do when a script comes across my desk is I flip to the back page. Why? Because I want to check the length. I want to see how long this script is. And if you've just handed me a script that's 138 pages, 145 pages, I'm pretty sure it's a pass. And I know this because screenplays now are even shorter than 120 pages. It used to be back in the day you had more leeway, but because of streaming, movies have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. And yes, there's a few exceptions to this. If you have a project that has a triple A-list director attached and it's a 3-hour biopic, then you might be able to get away with it. Or if you are writing on a Marvel movie, then you might be able to get away with it. But for almost all of us, including me, scripts have to come in well under 120 pages. So make sure you do the work ahead of time and bring your script in at a reasonable length. Now I go back to the front of the script, and now is when I check the spelling and the grammar. And if what I see in the first couple pages of the script is a whole lot of sloppy mistakes, then I'm pretty sure that this script isn't going to be professional. Now, I know that there's exceptions to this. Sometimes a writer might be neurodivergent, they might be dyslexic, they might have some other reason why they really struggle with spelling and grammar. But you have to remember, the person reading your script on the other end does not know your personal situation. And guys, everybody can use spell check. So use it. No matter what your situation is, if you run your script through spell check, you can save yourself a whole bunch of grief and make sure that you're turning in a very clean, professional looking script. All right, so now I get to the middle of the script. And what I'm really looking for here is to see the dialogue. And I want to see if you've written page after page after page of dialogue with no scene breaks, with very little stage direction. And that's going to tell me that you've probably written a very talky script. Look, you have to always be aware of your medium. Screenplays and movies have scope. They feel cinematic. And if all you've got is 2 people talking for scene after scene after scene, it probably means you've written a stage play instead of a movie. And by the way, I see this problem a lot where people will try to adapt a stage play into a movie script and they'll just slap a cover page on it and say, now it's a screenplay, but that's not the case. If you're adapting a stage play, make sure that you make your story feel cinematic in the adaptation. So now that we've checked out the dialogue, I'm going to do the opposite thing and I'm going to look at the stage direction. Because a lot of times what I see is page after page, paragraph after paragraph of almost all stage direction with very little dialogue in there. And what that's telling me is that you either haven't found the voice of your character or you don't feel comfortable writing dialogue. And look, I get it. Dialogue is a very difficult thing for almost all of us, but you've got to get proficient at it if you want to write a successful screenplay. So make sure that when you're turning in a script that there's a good mix between your stage direction and your dialogue. And there's, again, a couple exceptions to this, right? Let's say, for example, you're writing a comedy that's largely improv. You might not have that much dialogue. Or let's say every now and again I see scripts that are prehistory, right? Like Proto-Humans, a movie like Quest for Fire, where they didn't really have complex language yet. That might be an instance. Or if you're doing a throwback to a silent movie. But those are really rare, and for the most part, make sure you've got the mix right. The last really important thing is just the format of your script. I know that Final Draft is kind of expensive, but there are, I don't know, dozens of screenplay formatting options online, programs that you can use that are free or inexpensive, and ones that very often have a trial. Use a template. Don't try to format your script yourself. Because if the reader on the other end sees a whole lot of formatting mistakes, again, it's kind of an indication that you just haven't written a very professional script. So look, here's the takeaway. There are 1,000 reasons why someone might pass on your script, but it's up to you to take care of the easy ones. Your work should always look and sound professional and on point. And from there on out, at least you know that you did everything you could to get the best possible result.